Hey, hi everybody! I hope you're all having a good day. So, it's finally here! The VNyan update we've all been wanting, right? Brand new UI, looking a lot more sleek, am I right? Do keep in mind though that by default VNyan has a pink UI, but you can always change it. That'll be for a different tutorial. But we got a new UI. We even finally have a wizard set. So if you are a 3D VTuber who is very brand new to VNyan and you have no idea how to set up VNyan, or you feel very intimidated by VNyan and its nodes and you want something to get started with, well, luckily the wizard for VNyan will show you how to get started. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you, just walk you through the whole wizard UI, so that way you can be able to understand how to set it up, so that way you can get started with VTubing and VNyan. So let's go ahead and get started! Welcome to the VNyan Wizard. If you're very brand new to VNyan or just 3D in general, then this wizard should hopefully help beginners out on getting started with VNyan. Now the wizard will consist of setting up your tracking, set up your avatar, and even setting up redeem, so that way you can get started with VNyan. Do keep in mind though that this is primarily for those who have never touched VNyan before or who have no idea how to set up VNyan. So this wizard is mainly for beginners. If you already have set up your nodes and your tracking in VNyan before, then please make sure that you skip the wizard, and that way you don't have to override your settings. But if by any chance you want to go through with the wizard and you already have all your tracking stuff or your nodes and all that, pretty much the wizard will only override your tracking settings. It will not override your existing nodes. In fact, it'll probably just add more nodes, basically. But again, if you already have VNyan set up, skip this. Otherwise, if you are a beginner and you need help regarding the whole wizard, then we're going to continue on with this basically. So, welcome to VNyan, and right here, this is where we're going to select our avatar. If you're a VRM model or VRM 1.0 model, or you use VSF avatar, you can load your model here. This does not support like asset bundle models such as Waterdo avatar or Ava Kit's avatar file. Basically, if there's an asset bundle model using a different program, it's not supported in VNyan. The only asset bundle model that is supported in VNyan is VSF Avatar, which is VSeeFace's model format, basically. So just keep that in mind when it comes to VNyan, at least in terms of asset bundles. But either way, though, and also in the future, heads up, there may be a VNyan avatar format too, so just keep an eye out for that. But either way, just so I don't confuse you guys, we're going to click on load avatar right here, and I'm going to load my VSF avatar right here. And you make sure you have it where automatically load avatar every time is checked. If you don't want it for some reason, like if you want to do some, I don't know, different stuff, or you want to like load a different model every time, then you can uncheck this, and then you can set up nodes later to change your avatar and all that. But otherwise, I would recommend keep this on, and we can click on OK. Now, this is basically the wizard for setting up the tracking, basically. So, if you by any chance have full body tracking, such as VR, Slime VR, Mokopi, Rococo, XSense, Perception Neuron, whatever the heck full body tracking you got, then you would select on this top one right here, basically. Do keep in mind, though, Mokopi, Rococo, XSense, Perception Neuron, and VR is not natively supported. I will say, potentially, from what I've heard, native VR support for VNyan might be coming in the future, just not now though. But in case you're wondering, it may come to VNyan in the future, but when it comes to mocap suits, and other programs such as Slime VR or Mokopi, you're going to have to use a third-party program. So with general VR tracking, you're going to have to use Tracking World or Virtual Motion Capture. For Mokopi, you'll have to use Virtual Motion Capture for that. Slime VR, they have their own VR program that you can use to send the tracking to VNyan, as they have native VMC. Rococo has native VMC in their program. You're going to have to pay for it though. For XNs, you're going to have to use a third-party program, and same with Perception Neuron, basically. So that's if regarding the whole full body tracking stuff. But again, you know, that's up to you. You're going to probably have to do some tweaking with it. For hand tracking, this is in reference to programs such as 3D Pose Tracker, XR Animator, and Webcam Motion Capture. If you want webcam hand tracking, this is basically where you check with that. And also, if you just want to have, like, not just webcam hand tracking, but even just a webcam, like the entire webcam being taken care of in a different program, then I would recommend make sure you have this checked box, because XR Animator, 3D Post Tracker, and Webcam Motion Capture, they already have their own like head face tracking already integrated. So I would recommend use those programs for your webcam stuff. In case you're wondering if VNyan has native webcam hand tracking, not yet, but they have confirmed in the future they will look into it. So I might make a tutorial on that whenever that update comes up. Leap motion. If you have a stereo leap motion, 3DI, V2 leap motion, or V1, whichever leap motion you have, you can select on this, so you can have hand tracking via depth sensor, which I have my leap motion V1 on me right now. So yeah, and then I have a Face ID compatible iPhone. This is referring to iPhone, so if you're using VTube Studio, iFacial mocap, or Face Motion 3D, or I believe also Meowface. Now Meowface is an Android app though, but the thing is that VNyan does have native Meowface support because, well, Suvadro made both VNyan and Meowface. So if by any chance you follow along those lines, whether it's, you know, Meowface, iFacial mocap, Face Motion 3D, or VTube Studio, then you could definitely check this instead. Now for my case, my iPhone died before the recording, so I cannot use my iPhone sadly, so I'm gonna have to use webcam and just demonstrate instead. So webcam, VNyan has native webcam tracking support. They utilize media pipes, so if you have ARKit blend shapes on your model and you prefer webcam, then you could be able to utilize your ARKit blend shapes with media pipe only, or if you don't have ARKit blend shapes at all or don't even know what the heck that is, then VNyan will automatically set up your tracking so it works with the default VR blend shape. So really nice about VNyan, and the same applies to iPhone. But either way, I'm gonna set up according to what I have here. Again, it's up to you on how you're going to do the tracking yourself. The wizard should guide you through how you're gonna set up, but I'm just elaborating in case you have no idea what the frick this is. So yeah. But either way though, and also if you want to by any chance skip this because you have a bit more of an intense setup or very specific preferences, then you can go ahead and click on skip the tracking. You can set it up later. But we're gonna click on OK. As for the tracking, it is recommended that I set up the native webcam tracking VNyan has, which is media pipe. So basically with webcam here, I'm going to select on my Elgato face cam, and pretty much just, you know, make sure, of course, don't select your virtual cameras here or anything like that. Make sure you select your actual webcam. If by any chance your webcam is not working in VNyan, please double check if there's any other program that is using your webcam, such as, I don't know, like if you're an Elgato user, Elgato users have the little virtual cam program. You might want to disable that, or Windows camera app, or maybe you have XR Animator or a different Vtuber program with webcam tracking on. If by any chance VNyan's not working, and if by any chance you still have issues, maybe check your firewall, make sure that VNyan is allowed. So if you have like that pop-up message with the blue, make sure that you accept that blue message. Basically, if you have a firewall pop-up that pops up, just make sure you accept it, or if you accidentally said no to it, then go back to your firewall and make sure it is accepted, so that way the webcam can actually work. If by any chance it's not working at all. Just wanted to elaborate that. Same with your iPhone too, or any tracking device in general. Make sure VNyan is accepted in the firewall. Now, we have hand tracking here. Since you have a leap motion, it's recommended that you use hand tracking, or use it for hand tracking. So here we can actually choose which one we want. We can have chest mounted or flat on the desktop. Now right now mine's on the chest mount, so I'm going to choose chest mount, but you may want to choose flat on the desk. But either way, we have this, and pretty much you set it up according to what you prefer. Then you're going to go ahead and click on OK. Now here is basically the expression mapping. Now basically this is more towards if you do a face, right? So with your webcam or your iPhone, you know, in VNyan, if you make a specific face, like let's say my eyes are widened and my mouth is like open sort of, just an example, it'll basically trigger your actual VRM blend shape dedicated to being shocked, basically. So it adds more expression to your character, which is really nice. This is basically the VC Face expression detection system, but done in VNyan, basically. So if you've always wanted that, then go ahead, set this up. Otherwise, though, if you don't want it, then just click on not in use. But otherwise, you could just go down, find the blend shape according, and just do that, basically. So yeah. But that's pretty much if you want the whole expression detection source system, but in VNyan, basically, that's what this is. So we're gonna click on OK. These are toggles. If by any chance you want to have hotkeys, then you can basically set it up here. So I'll go ahead and set up my hotkeys with my numpad, basically. Of course, yes, VNyan does also support for the Stream Deck as well, but you're gonna have to make your own node for that, which I have another tutorial on how to set up Stream Deck toggles for VNyans if you want to check that out. But yeah, but pretty much you can set up different hotkeys here, basically. This is pretty much just any of the blend shapes that your model has already. You just choose whichever expressions you want and just go from there. I'm just gonna set up the ones for the top here, basically. So yeah, you can leave the hotkey empty pretty much if you don't want it. So yeah, but either way, we're gonna click on OK. Now, streaming platform. If you want some integration stuff, we got YouTube and Twitch support. And in case you're going to ask about Kick support, we are waiting for Kick API to be released, but the devs are taking way too long. Darn it, Kick. But either way, though, in case you're wondering for Kick, you're probably gonna have to utilize StreamerBot and Lumia StreamBot to make it work with VNyan and have like command stuff similar to like the old method for how to get YouTube working on VNyan before actual support was added. Just wanted to say, but eventually there will be Kick support in VNyan. It's just we gotta wait for the official API. But either way, though, you can choose whichever you want. Let's say we're gonna go with Twitch, but YouTube, it'll just show you pretty much the same walkthrough, basically. So with Twitch, we're gonna go here. And then we have item thrower. It'll show you how it looks like here. Look at the little cute Subi. So you can choose whichever one you want. So it could be for new follow or subs receive or bits and all that. You can even have it where if you press on channel point redeem, you can name the channel point. Let's say throw stuff here. Or for a chat message, you could say !throw. So you can pretty much have that basically however you want, basically. And then hype train, if a hype train happens, you can have it where it'll throw stuff at you. Or if a raid happens, it'll throw stuff, whichever you want. Or you could just select all of the above, it doesn't matter, but again, it's up to your preference, basically. Then we have confetti here, so there'll be some nice confetti. You can have it where this could be done on raid and hype train here, or however you want, or confetti, like that. However you want, basically. And yes, you can also modify these later as well. Like, if it feels too limiting, you could definitely modify it, but at least these are pre-made, especially if you're someone who don't really like to touch the nodes yet. So this is nice to start with. And then we have a water! So, you can have it where it's all set up here, so you can choose whichever one. We can have this as a water redeem, or we can have it where a new follow, water will toss on us and such. So yeah. And then also just to quickly show, you can go on YouTube here. This is how YouTube will look like. So basically you can have it where you can have a super chat. It will either toss stuff at you, or a super sticker, or a new member, or even a chat message where it could be like sort of like a redeem, because YouTube does not have a redeem system. So in order to sort of replicate it, you can have a chat message as like basically a redeem for it, basically. And the same applies with confetti, basically, and the water. But I'm gonna go back to Twitch, basically do this, and then I'm gonna click on OK. And then let me also type in water here. And hold up, a little bug happened. There you go. Oh, whoa, okay, so there you are. So there was a little, okay, so I fixed a little issue. So yeah, my eye tracking is a little bonkers right now, please excuse that. But basically, though, your tracking should immediately start working after you finish the VNyan wizard, basically. You're gonna probably have to go back, like if you see some weird derpy tracking, or you feel like the tracking is not what you want, then you'll have to go into menu here, go to settings, and then of course here you can of course change your settings basically. So for my case, I know that my model was made for the eye blend shapes, not eye bones, so I have to disable eye bones for my case, and there you go, now my eyes are back to normal basically. So there's that. And then you can of course adjust the settings. So if you feel like, again, the tracking is a little too much for you, please take your time. Again, I will make a more dedicated tutorial regarding every one of the tracking settings here. I already made a blend shape adjustment tutorial, so if you want to look at that, you can. Do keep in mind the UI will look different in that tutorial, but the information should still apply basically. So, but you pretty much just mess with the settings. I don't recommend messing with these ones right here though, the ones that go from apply head to apply legs. Don't touch those unless you want to. But pretty much just mess with all the other things here basically. And then of course if you want to change from webcam to iPhone, you can set it up here. And as I said, there's that. And pretty much you can of course adjust your leap motion. So if you feel like your leap motion settings are a bit too much for you or anything like that, you can of course adjust it accordingly however you want basically. So yeah. And then of course, you know, like I said, full body tracking, if you have your own specific preferences for the tracking stuff, there are 4 different ports you can choose from with VMC. So you can have you can use 4 different VMC based programs, and you can put it all into VNyan, which is really nice. But you could just choose one of them at least, so yeah. So at least that's a nice thing. And also just to quickly go over before this tutorial ends basically, I want to quickly show you the UI, so in case you want to change it or something like that, you can be able to know how to change it. So basically what you're going to do, so you're going to go into graphics, and then what you're going to do is here under UI settings, you can change it so that way it can have a different UI basically. So you can have dark gray, or you can have dark pink if you prefer, or you can have human rights, or you can have light meow, or you can have light studio basically. So whichever you prefer regarding the UI, you could definitely do that. Of course, you can even change the colors of the UI, which again I will go over in a different tutorial on how to exactly do that. But for now, that is pretty much the default UIs that are there, and of course you can download from other people if you prefer. And then of course there is UI scaling, so if by any chance you feel like the UI is too small for you, you could definitely change it. I personally have mine pretty big, but you may prefer a more smaller UI or something like that, depending on your preference basically. And last but not least, just want to make sure, because some people overlook this, if you want to send your capture from VNyan to OBS, you need to download the Spout add-on for OBS and make sure that this is enabled. So that way you can send it to OBS. At least get started. And then just to also show you as well, just to make sure, like I said, I'm trying to make sure that I go over at least the basic stuff when it comes to getting started with VNyan. Again, there's a lot more, which I will say, there's a lot more that you're gonna have to do with VNyan. Again, I do have other tutorials regarding how to use VNyan and such. There may be some tutorials I might end up remaking. Please let me know if there's a tutorial you want me to remake and such. Otherwise though, pretty much for the most part though, at least the wizard should hopefully help you get started. But if you want to do more with VNyan, or you're still confused and you want to do some other specific stuff, I'll try my best to make as much VNyan tutorials as much as possible to hopefully help you out on understanding VNyan. You can also check out Suvidrail's channel as well, as she does make official VNyan tutorials to hopefully help you out as well regarding you know, certain stuff basically. So yeah. Now I also want to show you, so the nodes, as I said, basically here you can see that, you know, you can have like your toggle here, or there's start settings right here that shows you pretty much like the starting, like when the program loads, it will load this. There's even interaction nodes here as well. Heck, even they have it where for the settings that you did not even for the settings that you didn't you know, said yes to, they still exist here. So if you want to like reference these nodes, you know, in case you want to do other stuff, or again you want to do some editing, then definitely it is there. So definitely utilize, you know, definitely mess around with the nodes and such. Again, I do have other tutorials regarding the nodes and all of that, but if I have to update any of the tutorials that I made, then please let me know. But yeah, but pretty much you have all your interaction nodes and such. So basically, what you need as a beginner, they should all be there basically and such. And also in case, one last thing, just want to make sure, in case you feel like your default camera is too far away, first start off, first of all, press the C button on your keyboard to reset the camera. Then Alt right click to zoom in. And then once you have the camera position that you want, then go to settings here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to miscellaneous right here. Then on default, click on set position basically. And then I also recommend please check out the help button right here. There's a little help bar right here basically. And you can definitely check out on how to get started with VNyan basically right here basically. And again, I have other tutorials you can check out if you want to learn how to do specific stuff. If you have a tutorial request, please let me know, and I'll try my best to help you out as best as I can, so that way you can learn a bit about VNyan. Now do keep in mind, like I said, you're going to have to do a lot of editing, such as editing your tracking, or editing your redeems, or you can download pre-existing graphs from the VNyan Discord server. There is probably going to be Steam support coming up for VNyan, so it should be a lot more easier to download pre-existing nodes and such. But until that happens, for now, the VNyan Discord server is a great place to download pre-existing graphs, so that way it's a lot more easier for you, basically. But otherwise, though, pretty much, though, have fun with VNyan. Let me know if you have any other questions. Please join the VNyan. Please join Vtuber's Discord server, or what we call VNyan Discord server, but Vtuber's Discord server. Please join it. I leave it in the description below as well as the pinned comment. So if you need some assistance or you need some help, please join it. And if by any chance you want help specifically from me, you can ping me, but just keep in mind that I am busy on other stuff or I'm probably asleep. So please be respectful if you are going to ping me or something like that. But either way, I hope that this tutorial helps you out, and have a lovely day, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!